Every year, I get asked whether revolvers still hold their ground in a world full of striker-fired pistols, and in 2025, many shooters are proving they absolutely do. Whether it's for carry, home defense, or collecting, these wheel guns are moving fast for a reason. What's up, everyone? This is Ted from Line 45, and today, I'm walking you through the revolvers that buyers across the country are locking in this year before they disappear from the shelves. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable gun-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up and let's get back to the video. Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus. Some revolvers just feel like they were built with real-world work in mind, and the 686 Plus is one of those. I carried a standard 686-inch uniform back when wheel guns were still common in duty holsters, and even then, it was known as the revolver that could take a beating, shoot straight, and never whine about it. Even up to now, the 686 Plus is still one of the most bought revolvers on the market, and that says something about what shooters value. This model takes everything good about the original L-frame 686 and bumps the capacity to 7 rounds, which makes a real difference when you're not reloading under a timer, but under stress. Chambered in .357 Magnum, with the ability to shoot .38 Special and Plus P all day, it covers every base from home defense to woods carry. The Plus variant comes in several barrel lengths, but the 2.5-inch Performance Center version is the one I've spent the most time with. It balances well, conceals better than you'd expect, and still delivers Magnum authority when you need it. Trigger work from the Performance Center is clean. My sample broke at just over 3.5 pounds in single action and about 10-inch double. The unfluted cylinder looks sharp and feels solid. With full power loads, it kicks, but it's manageable, especially if you swap out the wood grips for rubber. For anyone serious about revolvers, the 686 Plus Street Ill earns its place. It's just a solid, capable, American-made workhorse. Taurus Defender 856 Ultralight. I've carried a lot of revolvers over the years. Steel snubs, alloy J-frames, even a Model 12 that felt like it was built for a different time. But when it comes to something that blends modern concealability with old-school function, the Taurus 856 Ultralight Defender hits a really sweet spot. This isn't your grandfather's carry gun, but it borrows just enough from that era to feel grounded, while still giving you the updates that make sense for 2025. This 3-inch barrel variant is built on an aluminum frame and paired with a steel barrel and cylinder, bringing the weight down to just around 17.3 ounces unloaded. You get 6 shots of .38 Special Plus P, which is more than the usual 5 most snubbies give you, and it's slim enough to disappear under a t-shirt in a decent appendix rig. Mine runs smoothly with factory Hogue rubber grips, but the aftermarket has caught up. Filster, Galco, and even Veridian now have options dialed in specifically for the 856, including laser grips that feel surprisingly refined for the price point. Range time with this one was better than expected. Standard pressure 158 grain LRN shot dead on at 10 yards, and even hot stuff like Spear 135 Plus P was controllable with the full grip. Taurus ships it with an Ameriglow front sight, which has an orange outline and tritium insert, and it's a game changer for low light. All that for under $500 in most shops, and you're seriously looking at a carry revolver that earns its spot without any pretense. It just works, and that's the point. Chiappa Rhino 60 deciseconds. This thing doesn't look like any revolver most people are used to, but the Rhino 60 deciseconds wasn't built to be traditional, it was built to be smart. I picked one up a few months back after running drills with a 40 deciseconds, and it didn't take long to figure out why these are flying off shelves in 2025. Chiappa didn't just make a revolver, they redesigned how one feels in your hand. The barrel sits in line with the bottom chamber of the cylinder, which sounds strange until you shoot it. That design drives recoil straight back into your wrist, and it nearly erases muzzle flip. No joke. It shoots flatter than some steel-frame 9mm pistols. The 60 deciseconds is the 6-inch variant, chambered in .357 Magnum. With a full-length under-barrel rail, top rail for optics, and adjustable sights, it's a purpose-built revolver that's ideal for defensive roles or hunting whitetail at close range. I mounted an Aimpoint Micro on mine, and it was easy to zero. I've grouped 158 grain hardcast just under 2 inches at 25 yards off bags, and the thing's smooth enough in double action to keep .25-second splits at 7 yards. The hexagonal cylinder shaves off some bulk, and the 2-pound frame balances surprisingly well even with optics. Yes, the grip's a little short for large hands, but Chiappa offers extended options. In terms of innovation, control, and raw usability, the Rhino 60 deciseconds is one of the few revolvers this year that actually feels like it belongs in 2025. And yeah, I'd carry it if the circumstances call for it. Performance Center Pro Series Smith & Wesson Model 60. Back when I was learning to shoot revolvers, the Model 60 was always the name that came up. Stainless, 5-shot, classic J-frame. It was one of those guns you could trust to do its job. Fast forward to 2025, and the Performance Center Pro Series Model 60 has evolved into something a little more serious. It's still that old-school snub reliability, but now it's got sharper edges, better balance, and enough barrel to wring out the full power of .357 Magnum without punishing your hand. This version features a 3-inch slab-sided barrel and a longer, checkered walnut grip that gives you full purchase. That's important when you're touching off full-house Magnum rounds. With a weight just under 23 ounces unloaded, the Model 60 tames recoil better than the airweights and pocket-sized blasters out there. The Trijicon front night sight and adjustable rear are a big step up from the old gutter sights on most J-frames, and honestly, it shoots more like a K-frame than you'd expect. On the bench, we saw 1.01-inch groups with Blazer 125 grain plus P and under 2 inches with most .357 loads. Offhand, it's fast, but takes some grip discipline. The double-action pull measured 11 pounds but felt smooth enough not to interrupt sight picture. The single-action brake came in at 4 pounds clean. Is it the easiest gun to conceal? Number. But if you want a revolver that you can actually shoot well, carry with confidence, and keep for life, this Performance Center 60 has proven why it still makes the cut in 2025. Ruger GP100. If I had to pick one revolver in my safe to outlast me, it'd be my Ruger GP100. This isn't some boutique showpiece or a lightweight carry queen. It's a working gun. That's exactly why so many shooters in 2025 are still lining up for it. The GP100 has been around since 1985, and Ruger keeps tweaking it just enough to stay relevant while preserving what made it a tank in the first place: durability and shootability. Mine's the 4.2-inch stainless model, and it balances beautifully from the draw. At 40 ounces loaded, it's no featherweight, but that's what makes it easy to shoot magnums all day without shaking the fillings out of your teeth. The triple-locking cylinder, beefy top strap, and full-lug barrel soak up recoil and keep the gun locked up tight, even with hot loads like buffalo bore or underwood. Whether you're shooting 158-grain soft points or 180-grain hardcast for trail duty, this thing holds up. The double-action trigger is springy but predictable, and it smooths out with use. The Match Champion variants come tuned from the factory and bring Novak sights, Hogue grips, and tighter tolerances for folks wanting competition-grade performance. I've run mine on steel plates and on hog hunts. It's never choked, and the built-in strength lets me shoot .357 like I'd shoot .38s in a smaller revolver. If you want a revolver that bridges the gap between range, woods, and duty, the GP100's still holding that middle ground, and buyers in 2025 know exactly what they're getting with it. Diamondback SDR. Every now and then, a new revolver lands that actually feels like it was designed by people who shoot. The Diamondback SDR is that gun in 2025. Built from forged stainless steel and chambered in .357 Magnum, the SDR is small enough to carry, solid enough to shoot hot loads, and smartly built in ways that make you go, "Why hasn't anyone else done that?" I picked one up after putting hands on it at SHOT Show, and I've been carrying and shooting it since. At 21.2 ounces unloaded, it comes in just a hair heavier than your typical 5-shot snubby, but gives you 6 in the cylinder. That alone makes it a standout. The frame accepts standard J-frame grips, but ships with a slim 2-finger rubber boot that's compact enough for concealment, yet surprisingly grippy under recoil. Fiber optic sights come standard, and they're not glued-in gimmicks. These are pinned, drift-adjustable units that actually catch light well and hold zero. The trigger surprised me. Double action came in just under 10 pounds and was smooth through its arc. Single action was crisp at a little over 3. It's accurate, too. My best 5-shot group at 7 yards using Remington 110 grain 38 SPL measured 1.26 inches from a rest. The push-button cylinder release is big and intuitive, and the quick-release system on the right side lets you pull the entire cylinder for cleaning in seconds. For under $800, this is one of the best carry revolvers out right now, and based on what I've seen in stores and on forums, buyers agree. Smith & Wesson Ultimate Carry Model 632. Every now and then, a revolver lands that feels like someone actually asked a shooter what they needed, and then built it. The Ultimate Carry Model 632 from Smith & Wesson is exactly that. It's not just a repackaged J-frame. It's a complete redesign with practical upgrades in nearly every corner, and in 2025, it quickly became one of the most sought-after defensive wheel guns out there. This thing is featherweight, just 16.3 ounces with a frame cut from aluminum alloy and a 1.88-inch stainless barrel up front. But what really grabbed my attention was the caliber. Chambered in 32 H&R Magnum, the 632 gives you 6 rounds in a platform that would typically hold 5 if it were chambered in 38. You get less recoil than a .38 Special, but with better penetration than a .22. And the performance is more than respectable with the right ammo like Federal's 85 grain JHP or Buffalo Bore's 100 grain loads. S&W's endurance package really does smooth things out. The double-action trigger is around 10 pounds, but it's cleaner than you'd expect. Chamfered chambers speed up reloads, and the cylinder release is crisp. It also comes fitted with a green ring XS tritium front sight, a dovetailed U-notch rear, and custom G10 VZ grips that actually help tame the muzzle rise. Carried AIWB in a minimalist rig, it disappears. And for folks who want a reliable, carry-ready revolver with better shootability than a snub .357, the 632 punches way above its weight, and that's why buyers are all over it this year. Smith & Wesson Model 327 2R8. When you hold the TR8 in your hand, it doesn't feel like a revolver built for casual range sessions. This thing is engineered for hard use, period. It's an 8-shot N-frame .357 Magnum revolver that feels more like a duty-grade tool than a collector's piece. And that's why in 2025, the TRR8 is turning heads in the market again, especially among shooters who want serious capability from a wheelgun platform. What sets it apart is the blend of lightweight materials and full-size performance. The scandium alloy frame cuts the weight down to just under 35 ounces, but the steel barrel and cylinder still give it the heft and balance you need to control full power loads. I've run 125 grain .357 Magnum through mine with Wilson Combat and Hornady ammo, and even in rapid fire, it's steady in the hands. The Hogue rubber grip helps you stay locked in, even when things get snappy. The TRR8 comes ready to run, suppressed, or accessorized, with top and bottom rails included. I've personally mounted a Trijicon RMR and Surefire X300 on mine, and the setup turned a basic revolver into a low-light powerhouse. Accuracy from 25 feet in single action, with 110 grain plus P38s, held just under 2.5 inches. You can run moon clips, speed loaders, or drop rounds in the traditional way. Your call. This is the kind of revolver you pack when you're heading off-grid, not just heading to the range. In the world of 2025 revolvers, it's earned its place in the top tier. Colt Python Blued. Some revolvers get talked about because they're affordable, others because they're flashy. But the Colt Python holds weight. And with the return of the blued carbon steel version in late 2024, it's no surprise that this revolver is one of the most purchased handguns heading into 2025. This one isn't built for trends. It's built for those who understand craftsmanship, balance, and heritage in a revolver that still earns its keep today. I've shot the 4.25-inch barrel version, and the build quality is right where you'd expect it to be. The finish is deep, lustrous, and polished enough to feel like it came out of Colt's heyday. But this isn't just about looks. The internals have been reworked from the older models. The updated frame geometry, reinforced top strap, and transfer bar ignition system make this Python stronger than the originals, while keeping the V-spring system that gives Colt's DA trigger its signature smooth roll. Accuracy-wise, it's a standout. I've seen 1.5 to 2.5-inch 5-shot groups from the bench at 25 yards using Federal and SIG .357 Magnum loads. The single-action brake on my test gun averaged just over 5.5 pounds, and the DA pull came in smooth around 11. Colt ships these with target-style checkered walnut grips, a user-swappable front sight, and an adjustable rear, not to mention that full-length underlug and vented rib that still turn heads. If you want a .357 that shoots like a tuned target gun but carries the weight of American revolver history, this Python still owns the room, and now it's back in blue.